Hi you guys, my name is Cherita. Welcome to my channel. Okay, so I'll bite. I'll take the bait. Nobody put any bait out there, but I'll take it. And we're gonna be discussing some things. So in today's video, might as well just get right into it. I'm gonna be talking about Carlee. We're gonna do an update on Carlee. We're going to discuss Bronny, LeBron James' son, and Jamie Foxx. So if you guys are interested in any of those topics, go ahead and keep watching. Before I get started, make sure you click subscribe for new content whenever I post. And also do not forget to link up with me on my social media. All of that information will be down below in the description box. So let's get started. All right, so first things first, Carlee. Okay, so I made a video about Carlee, and let me be clear. Everything that I stated in my video, I stand by. Because I'm believing black women, and I believe that, you know, she needs help, you know, and I hope she gets the help that she deserves. However, in light of new information, which I also believe in, changing your thoughts, views, and opinions when presented with new information. Now, for me, the new information is her lawyer did a press conference or something and gave a statement. Now, after that statement, I definitely have some words. So, but like I said, I'm still believing black women. So, let's make that very clear. So, listen, I just need homegirl to take accountability. And I also do not believe that Carlee owes us any kind of explanation. And I will get there. So, I just need her to take accountability for what she did. Because basically her statement was, I lied. Baby girl, we know. We know you lied. And I would like to, can you guys just keep praying for me? People did that too. What you need to say is, listen, I didn't expect my lies to go as far as they did, and I take 100% accountability for everything that I caused, blah 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 blah. Like, that's the direction she should have went. Because this little, all right, like, continue to pray for me. And also she gave that statement through her lawyer. Like, I feel like she shouldn't have said anything to begin with, because I think at that point everybody was over it. But then she came back and just like refueled the fire. And Carlee, like, girl, your ex-man, who is a good-looking dude, now has hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of women and men and people who are attracted to him. Now, like, he is now on their radar. Like, old boy has a blue check on Instagram. Like, Carlee, girl, like, we've got to do better. You've got to do better. Because I get it. You were probably heartbroken about something, and I feel like y'all would all be lying if you were to say that you've never done something like crazy over a person that you were interested in. I find it hard to believe that you don't know somebody, or you were somebody who didn't do something. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people are like, well, we never staged a kidnapping. She didn't say she was kidnapped. Y'all said she was kidnapped. Like, do the puzzle pieces fit and like come together as a kidnapping? Sure. But she did not say she was kidnapped. And everybody's like, well, she's the one who got the world involved. No, she didn't. She did not. And again, this is where the accountability thing needs to come into play. Because whether she thought this was going to go viral or not, which I can tell you right now, I doubt she thought it would get as much coverage as it did, because hashtag they don't care about us. But she did not intentionally get the world involved, but because she did, that's where the accountability needs to come in. So I still don't feel like she owes anybody a full explanation, but accountability, that needs to be a thing. You know, like, people do crazy stuff all the time. If you guys do not follow this Twitter account, it's called 6 Brown Chicks, I believe. And every Wednesday, hashtag Wednesday Wisdom, they put out like 6 stories. They say that they verify these stories, and these stories are crazy. The stories are just ridiculous, you guys, and they never seem real. But in comparison to like what Carlee did, like what she did was minimal. All these stories that I read on Wednesday Wisdom are like, but because they don't get as much traction, or, you know, nobody like called the cops, or nobody talked about it on social media, like, that's the only reason why it doesn't get as much, you know, as much play. So like, people do crazy stuff all the time, Carlee included. Unfortunately for her, hers just went worldwide. And then, I don't know if I mentioned this in my last video, I'm sure I did, but we have to stop the whole, oh, well, this is gonna hold us back, this is gonna hold back black women. No, black women have already been held back, you know? And it proves, like, the fact that the first thing that everybody went to was, oh, this is a hoax. That's the first thing everybody went to. But like, when white women do the exact same thing, what's that girl's name? Sherry Panini? Pretty sure that's her name. You know, she literally staged an entire kidnapping and gave like a description of people, like 2 Hispanic men, and, you know, just a whole thing, and that ended up being fake. But who out here was saying, oh, well, this is gonna hold white women back? No. Y'all are still believing the white women. So, and nobody was like, oh my gosh, maybe it's a hoax. Nobody did that. Nobody tried to poke holes in her stories right away. But that's the first thing that they did for Carlee. And like, it's odd to me that people are not seeing that. So miss me with the whole, like, this is gonna set, you know, black women back. No, the setback is already there. It's called racism. Misogynoir. That's what that is. So yeah. So, like I said, I stand by what I said about Carlee in my first video. However, when presented with new information, I think homegirl needs to take accountability. I don't think she owes an explanation. I don't think she owes anybody anything. But I think herself, I think she just needs to take accountability for her actions, because everything has consequences, you know? And again, she didn't think it was going to go this big, but it did. And what she did was, you know, like, not of sound mind, and it wasn't a good idea. So you have to take whatever consequences come with that bad decision. So there's that. The second thing I want to talk about is Bronny. So LeBron James has a son, Bronny. Is he LeBron James II and they just call him Bronny? But Bronny suffered, he went into cardiac arrest on the basketball court. And of course, you have a lot of people going, it's the vaccine. Now, here's the thing. I feel like people who automatically go to that, like, you're not using your brain. You're not really thinking. Because things like this have been happening before COVID, before the vaccine. And that's just the very first thing that everybody wants to jump to. You know what I mean? Even when COVID was a thing and people were dying from COVID, everybody was like, it's not COVID. Maybe they had some pre-existing, health issues. But then after the vaccine, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it was a vaccine. What happened to pre-existing conditions? Because everybody wasn't dying from COVID. So like, I don't understand why that's everybody's go-to. So here are a couple of my theories. And don't get me wrong, like, I love a good conspiracy theory, but like the fact that that's the only thing you can think about, like, the vibes are not vibing. So this is how I feel. One, we do not know how COVID has been affecting people's hearts, because it is a respiratory infection type situation. I myself, I have asthma, and I had COVID maybe like 3 years ago. I had COVID. And now, in this, again, this could be an age thing, it could be a COVID thing, it could be anything. But I've noticed that my asthma is triggered easier than it was, a couple years ago. Now, again, this could be because of COVID, and granted, I know asthma has nothing to do with the heart, but that definitely has to do with the lungs. But still, that has to do with breathing, right? So yeah, so there's that, like, that's just me and my personal whatever. But we don't know how COVID has affected the lungs and the hearts and everything else inside of here. We don't know. There are people who have had COVID who have heart problems now. So, it could be a side effect of COVID. And I'm also not ruling out the vaccine, but let's take everything into consideration. The vaccine, the way that vaccines work, to my knowledge, is they do give little doses of whatever. So they give little doses of COVID to help with, to help boost your immune system or whatever. I'm probably wrong, but it sounds smart in my head. Another thing, this child could have had some kind of heart condition. There have been people, little kids who have, dropped unalive on soccer fields and football fields, and, way before this. Like, it's not new. It's not the first time that this has happened, and then come to find out they have, an enlarged heart, or, they have a heart murmur or something. Like, something's going on that they don't know anything about because it did not affect them until just then. Also, the way that these athletes are being trained at a young age, we don't know how that has affected some of their hearts. Come to find out, this is the second kid at UCLA who has gone into cardiac arrest. That's what I read, that this is a second student or a second athlete. These college athletes are training like they're Olympians. Same with these high school kids. Like, all these kids are training, and it's like, you don't think that causes wear and tear on your body? You don't think that, that makes your heart pump more? You don't think that, there's just so many different options that this could be, but to just try to pinpoint it to one thing to try to keep your narrative alive, or to, to keep your whatever, like, I can't get behind that, because could it be the vaccine? Sure. But it could also be something else. So instead of just looking at one thing, let's look at multiple things. Because, like, let's say, we study the vaccine, and we come to find out that's not it. There's so many other things that we could have been taking into consideration, but you know, that's just like with, you know, like we're just finding out about like CTE, and you know, young kids probably shouldn't be playing tackle football, you know, because their brains are turning into mush, their brains are turning into pudding, and you know, it's affecting them later in life. So how do we know that, like, the all the running and the weight training and the lifting, and how do we know that's not affecting the heart? We don't know. So all I know is that Bronny is in stable condition. I know he was no longer in the ICU, I believe, and all we can do is just continue to pray for him, and we'll see how this affects him in the long run. We will see. Today at work, I was with a passenger, and the wife told me that her husband had a pacemaker put in when he was like 40 years old. That sounds very, very young. 40 years old? Oof. So, yeah. Just, you know, positive vibes to Bronny. And, you know, and I really do hope he heals from this, and I hope they get answers, because like I said, we need to find a way to prevent these things from happening to other young, healthy, you know, seemingly young, healthy individuals. So yeah. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about, speaking of conspiracy theories, let's talk about Jamie Foxx. Y'all, I don't think you understand. This made me irrationally angry. Like, it makes me so frustrated that people even have these thoughts. So, Jamie Foxx, as we know, was, you know, sick. And, you know, a lot of people were like, oh, like, where's Jamie? Like, we need to hear from Jamie, blah, 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 blah. And rather than just, like, hoping that the man is okay, everybody felt entitled to what happened to him, you know? And I feel like, of course, you know, first thing people think of, it's the jab, it's the vaccine. And it's like, you don't even know what's wrong with him. And people are already just like assuming and making assumptions, you know, because everybody's like, well, he's only this age, he's healthy, he's this, he's that. You don't know Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is in Hollywood, you know? You don't know what he consumes in a day. You don't know if he, you know, is like, if he takes drugs. You don't know, you know, if he consumes alcohol in a day. Like, you guys don't know these things about this man. And people just want to assume, and they're like, well, we want to know what's wrong with him. We need to know what's wrong with him. Why? Are you going to cure him? So when people were like, well, we just need to know if he's okay. That was the first thing. We just need to know if he's okay. And the family comes out. He's okay. No, that's not good enough. We need to see him. We need to see him to make sure he's okay. So then, you know, they see Jamie Foxx, like, you know, and he like waves to the camera, waves to paparazzi, and everybody's like, no, that wasn't him. We need to hear him speak. So then this man gets on like Instagram Live or whatever, and, you know, basically is like, hey, I'm fine, but like my health is none of your business. And what does everybody say? That's not Jamie Foxx. That's a clone. Now, I cannot, for the life of me, get behind this clone stuff for a couple of reasons. One, and again, I like conspiracy theories. However, like, they need to make sense. Like the crack epidemic, you know, like the government put crack in the black communities to try and destroy the black communities. Why? Because racism. AIDS, the AIDS epidemic. They did that to, you know, and then called it the gay disease. Why? Because of homophobia, you know? But what they didn't realize is that, you know, like, men were on the down low, sleeping with other men, and then giving it to their straight partners, you know, or their women partners at home. And so yeah, and it's like all of these things backfire on them, you know, like crack is very, very addictive, but they thought, you know, they put it in the black community, it's gonna stay in the black community. Joke's on you. So anyway, I like a good conspiracy, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out what would benefit a clone. Like why are there clones? That's what I would like to know. Because let's say, for shits and giggle, Jamie Foxx is a clone. You guys, we get Jamie Foxx's talent for another however many years until they decide to get rid of the clone. That sounds like a plus to me. That sounds like a great thing. We get to enjoy Jamie Foxx more. You know, and of course a lot of people are saying, well, he was gonna you know, because like I guess the clone conversation is they're gonna expose Hollywood and this, that, and the other. I feel like Hollywood has already been exposed. Like, we know, like, there's no good in Hollywood, but what were they going to expose? And then what's going to happen? Because I can tell you what's going to happen when/if Hollywood or the Illuminati or whatever, once that all gets exposed. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. Nothing. Nothing's going to happen. You know how I know nothing's going to happen? Because look what happened when R. Kelly was found guilty for doing what he did. People are still supporting that man. Like, whatever it is, no matter what it is, people are going to continue to have supporters. So nothing's going to happen. So I don't understand. And then also when I ask, hey, why would there be a clone? And nobody ever has an answer. Like, I have not gotten an answer. I want to know, because that's how you have a discussion. Like, can you explain to me why there are clones? Because if Jamie Foxx was just going to expose, you know, Hollywood or whatever, because that's the only excuse that I've heard. But like, if he was going to expose, well, why not just get rid of him completely? You know, like, I don't understand. Why not just get rid of him completely? Like, who's gonna really look into it and be like, oh yeah, it was the government? Because like, they took out Michael Jackson, and like what has happened to where it's like, well, we can't just get rid of somebody, we have to clone them to make it seem like they're still around. And no offense, but like Jamie Foxx, like, I don't know. And a lot of people are saying, well, he doesn't look the same. No shit, the man was just sick for months on top of months on top of months. Like, his body just went through a transformation. Like, you know, he wasn't able to work out. He, you know, like, he wasn't getting any vitamin D. You know, people talking about, oh, he's lighter. Number one, it could have been the lighting. And number two, maybe he ain't been out in the sun. Maybe he still got his winter coat on. You know, and they're like, his head got skinnier. I'm gonna show y'all a before and after picture of me. Like, I was sick, you know, suffering from alcoholism, but like, I'm gonna show you. My face shape completely changed. So, I don't know, y'all. I really would like to know the reasons for the clone. That's what I would like. And then maybe I'll revisit this conversation. So, but anywho, I am about to get my car washed because my car is disgusting, and I need to vacuum it out and stuff. So let me know what you guys think about all of these topics. These are things that have irritated me on the internet. I actually have a couple more topics, so that'll be in a different video. But yeah, let's have a conversation. Let me know what you guys think. And until my next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye.